Welcome, everyone, to the Appalachian Liturgy Top 5. I am Justin Stacy.
I'm Brooke Ashley.
And I'm Justin Bolling.
And tonight we decided that we are going to tackle top 5 black and white TV shows. It was a fan request from about a year ago. It's been a long time.
Yeah, we wanted to do it for a bit.
We have wanted to do it for a bit. So I figured tonight is a good night to do it.
And before we get started, I did think that there was a way we can make this just a little bit more accurate than we normally do.
Oh, really? How's that?
Yeah, let's see if I got this.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
How did you do that?
Yeah. How do you do that?
Okay. Hey, wait a minute. I'm going to try. Ready?
There it is.
Oh, you did it too. You did it too. Okay. So what do I do? Talk me through this. What do I do? So I put my arms like this, right?
Yeah. Just
okay. And
didn't work.
No.
Okay.
I just wiggled my nose.
Oh, you wiggled your nose? Okay. Let's try that. Let me try that. Hold on.
He got it. I mean, he wiggled like his whole face, but
he did something.
Can you all hear me? Can you see me? I'm not.
Well,
not
it's
sure.
awful snowy.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. What are we going to do about this?
Okay.
I hate TVs.
What is it? It's been a long time.
How
the cartridge?
Rabbit ears? Do you have any?
No.
Rabbit ears. What?
You know,
what rabbit ears?
I mean, I'm a lot older than you, but rabbit ears that you adjust can be just right.
Oh, rabbit ears. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Yep, I got it. Right here. Okay. Here we go. And there. Got it.
That's the rabbit ears you used?
I cannot believe that worked.
Appalachian Liturgy Top 5 Debate. So top 5 black and white TV shows. Who would like to go first?
All right, I'll do it because I had an easy time with the top half of this list. I really had a hard time kind of filling out the bottom. There were a couple shows that I, immediately knew and wanted to put on there, but there were some that there was a lot of black and white shows that I had watched a decent amount of, but like not watched a whole lot of, or just didn't watch every episode of. But anyway, with that said, my number 5 came in with the Munsters. Theme song's great. Really liked the show. Watched it enough. It was something we watched semi-regularly, but not like all the time. And I had really had a hard time narrowing down those last two. So that was what I settled on. Number 4 came in with Bewitched. Same type of thing. It's one that we watched a decent amount. Like the black and white episodes as well as the color episodes. I think that eventually got to color, didn't it, for Bewitched?
Oh yeah, I thought
so.
A big part, at least half of it, I think.
I think the first season of Bewitched was black and white, and the rest
I think so. Yeah.
Was it just the first season? I'm kind of disappointed that I put that on there then, because I was trying to.
But don't be disappointed because wait till you see my list.
Okay. I'm sure I'll be disappointed at your list. So there's no. But 3 is where I really felt like it started getting strong. I came in with the Beverly Hillbillies. That was one I did watch all the time.
That was also another one that was both black and white and color.
Well, yeah, I was okay with it being both black and white and color. I just didn't want there was one black and white episode, and so I included it, even though I watched 99%, color episodes of things.
Right.
But Beverly Hillbillies was definitely, I liked the black and white more, and I know it was a long time before they actually got to color episodes. Mm-hmm. And then the top 2, I think, I had immediately that stood apart from everything else. I even had a hard time kind of organizing those 2, but I went with I Love Lucy at 2 is what I settled on. My mom absolutely loves that show, and I've seen like every episode of I Love Lucy, seen even some of the other spinoffs, Lucy's Show, and there was a third one too. But I think those did start leaving the black and white era. But yeah, I Love Lucy is absolutely like a staple of sitcoms and stuff, and still things that are referenced today in other shows. You see the Vitamita Vegemin reference in tons of TV shows.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's amazing how influential Lucille Ball was in the TV industry.
Yeah,
she produced Star Trek.
I don't think the humor
Wait,
of I Love
seriously?
Lucy translates as well right now, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it seems like it's hard to get into. I've tried to watch some of them here semi recently, and it doesn't feel the same. Maybe you have to actually sit down and get into the show first.
I actually binge watched all the seasons of I Love Lucy that was available on Amazon Prime probably a year or two ago, and I got into it. Like I watched them all. Yeah.
But number one, Andy Griffith Show. Definitely should be number one. And anybody whose list does not have it at number one or two, at least, I will be very disappointed in. So
I agree. I agree with that statement.
Well, I better go next because it sounds like we're going to have some disagreement with Stacy. And my list was very similar to Bolling. Did you have any honorable mentions?
The ones I was debating between, I had Petticoat Junction right on the borderline there. And what was the last one that I thought about? I was thinking Addams Family a little bit, Leave It to Beaver. Both of those were kind of right on the edge. That number 5 was really, I could have picked out of the hat and done that.
Mm-hmm. So I had a couple honorable mentions. I had The Munsters honorable mention, and I had Bewitched as an honorable mention, and I had Gunsmoke as an honorable mention.
That's a good one too, yeah.
Yeah. Now, one that I really thought about putting in my top 5, but I figured y'all would argue with me greatly about how it didn't qualify, was MASH. Because MASH had one episode that was black and white. One.
I already know that there's something I'm going to argue with somebody on here, and I would have been okay.
Yeah, I would have been okay with that. I wouldn't have been okay with it being on any top 5 list because I don't like MASH.
You don't like MASH?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
go back to your snowy TV.
Right, where's that snow? Bring it back. Okay, so here's my list. I had Gilligan's Island at number 5.
That's the one I was prepared to argue with. I came ready to fight on Gilligan's Island because.
Well, you're going to have to fight with me too. I'm going to defend you, Brooke, because it's on my list as well.
Yeah. So 4, I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
3, Beverly Hillbillies. 2, I Love Lucy. And Andy Griffith is at the top of mine. So that's why I just needed to go
There
next.
is no disagreement as to where Andy Griffith is on any list. It is number 1. So jumping into my list, my number 5, Gilligan's Island. And Bolling, much to your chagrin, Gilligan's Island was in black and white for at least half a season. Or once, I think they said 36 episodes, but what's interesting is they went back and recolorized them. So I actually don't think that I watched any black and white because by the time I'm watching them, they're already colorized. And so I wouldn't have known it was black and white until I researched it, seen it was black and white. And I'm like, it has to be on my list because it was one of my favorite shows.
Then I disagree with yours even more. My criteria, and I made a mistake on Bewitched. I may have got it confused with I Dream of Jeannie, but I was thinking it had more black and white than it had color. But what I was trying to judge it off of was even if it had both, and y'all should have known my criteria, even though we didn't say anything about it. You should have known what was going on in my head. But what I was judging it off of was if the color episodes are the ones that I enjoyed more than the black and white, it was excluded. If the black and white is what I enjoyed more, then it's a black and white show to me. And so Andy Griffith is obviously terrible in color episodes.
Yeah. For the most part.
So that was my exclusion for Gilligan's Island, and I came ready to fight anybody who disagreed. So
you're gonna lose.
Yeah, 2 against 1 on this one. All right. So my number 4 is The Munsters. And that was obviously, I mean, the theme song is just great. And it's interesting at how many like modern songs use parts of the theme song of the Munsters in their song. It's
actually like really, pop songs and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just such an iconic theme song. And it's just a great show. I Love Lucy is my number 3. It could have been my number 2 easily, but I chose not to because I went with something that's not, you might argue, isn't a TV show, Popeye. And it's a cartoon, but it's my favorite cartoon, probably outside of Gumby, of all time. And I did watch some of the rerun black and white Popeyes, so it has to be there. And the Andy Griffith Show is, of course, my number 1.
So I'll let Popeye go because when I was a kid, I was probably the last group of people who went to what was called horse crickers in Kingsport. And it was
to what?
it was called horse crickers, and it was sponsored by Eastman. And so you had to have had a family member who worked at Eastman to be able to go to horse crickers. So, it was like a social club for kids. You know how like you had the moose and all those kind of things. So it was Saturday morning, and like generations of folks whose parents or grandparents worked at Eastman will remember horse crickers. And you would go and they would show movies, and they would have skating and all this kind of stuff. And they would show films, and that's where I saw Popeye black and white.
That's awesome. I mean, a lot of the cartoons that you would have seen in black and white would have been shown in theaters. For example, this right here, Bugs Bunny, that I used in our little skit earlier, that he was in one of the Looney Tunes of Porky Pig, and so I think it was like the debut of Bugs Bunny. And it was a black and white episode. It was the only black and white episode that he was in. He had the weird looking design. But yeah, so I researched that to see what Looney Tunes was in black and white before we did this.
Yeah, I didn't even think about cartoons. I'm glad you brought that in. That's a second mistake.
Cartoons could be their own list, and we should probably do that at some point as well.
Absolutely, we should do our top cartoons.
Top 5 cartoons. I did have honorable mentions of Green Acres, which was both in color and black and white.
Yeah.
And Dick Van Dyke Show is somewhere. It wasn't my favorite.
Mr. Ed is a great.
Mr. Ed, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was actually a good one too. A lot of the stuff that was on SNCC or TV Land.
Yeah,
those were some good shows.
Nick at Night, the place for
Nick
TV
at Night.
kids.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
All right, so we have to come up with.
We have to have a consolidated. Yeah,
we do. We do have to have a consolidated list.
Look, we're out of practice.
I know we are. So Andy Griffith Show gets number 1 slot.
Yeah.
Yep. I found like Lucy was probably 2. It was 2.
Lucy's 2. Lucy's 2. Gilligan's Island. Two out of 3 of us have that on as number 5.
The Munsters made all 3 of our lists. I mean, I had it.
So
as
the
a
Munsters could be number 3.
Yeah.
I think Gilligan's Island should be number 5. Personally,
you skipped 4.
I know.
You do
number
know.
4. Yes. I did that number 5 because it was my number 5 and it was Brooks' number 5. And Bolling, you hate Gilligan's Island. So
I love Gilligan's Island.
No, I don't think you do. You wasn't on your list. So how would I know? It's on your list.
Let us tell you how you think, Bolling.
Yes.
Yes. So number 4. What are we thinking for number 4? Not MASH.
MASH has the same problem as Gilligan's Island. Not worse.
What about Beverly Hillbillies?
I think Beverly.
There we go.
That was up on mine, but
yeah, Beverly Hillbillies and Gilligan's Island. How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
So you realize that 2 of our top 5 were based in Appalachia.
Yeah, Andy Griffith Show.
Okay, I was like Beverly Hillbillies, obviously.
And Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah. Well, I guess where were they originally? Like in the first episode, where were they based out of?
Oh, that's true because it's technically based in Hollywood.
Well,
Right.
it's in Hollywood, but it's about an Appalachian family living outside of Appalachia.
Yeah.
And Andy
So
Griffith
that
in
is kind
North
of
Carolina.
Yeah. I would like to go to that town. What's it called?
Mount Airy.
Mount Airy.
Mhm.
To tour some of the sites and
We used to
Mom's
drive
done it a
by
couple of times.
Yeah, my parents have been there.
For soccer, and I was like, I want to stop.
Yeah.
Fun
All right.
stuff, girl. Makes me
That's
want to go
good
watch
stuff.
TV now.
Yeah, some black and white TV. Maybe not on an actual black and white TV though, because they do have issues.
My kids are so confused by the idea that there was TV that was not in color. They don't understand that was a thing. And they're like, why would you watch this?
Yeah. Yeah, one of my first TVs that I had for at least for my Nintendo was a black and white TV.
Me too. I used to play on a 12 or 13 inch black and white TV. And
With the little knob.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Those were the days. All right, well, that's a good list.
You missed
That was a goodie.
Casey to talk about whippersnappers.
Oh, yeah. I need to implement that into my vocabulary more.
Yep.
You young whippersnappers. Oh, I do feel old. Also, I think I'm going bald. Look at this. Look at all these bald spots. My hair lady actually pointed that out when I got a haircut the last time. She said, your hair is really thinning on, up top here. And I was like, oh, sweet Jesus, don't tell me that. So now I'm like paranoid.
Bolling says jealous.
Look at all that hair.
It's a problem right now. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm actually going to have to let it grow out.
Haircuts. You missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going
Good
Super
stuff.
Saiyan.
All right.
All right.
Well, peace, everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We really hope you got some enjoyment out of the podcast this week. Remember to check out our website, www.appalachianliturgy.com, and follow us on all of our social medias. Merch and Patreon is coming soon, so continue to check back for that as well. If you want an easy way to support us, though, make sure to subscribe to our channels and like our videos on YouTube. Also, join our email list for updates and let us know how we're doing. See you next week, everyone. Appalachian Liturgy Podcast is a JRS Studios production.